Thank you for joining us today for the Women with Vision Spotlight Series. I'm Laura Brandao, the chair of Women with Vision, and today I am joined by one of our incredible board of directors, Ms. Ashlee Cragun. Ashlee, thank you so much for joining us today, and we want to kick it off with our first question of what does being a woman with vision mean to you?
Well, first, thank you. Hi, everyone that's watching. I'm glad you're tuning in. But your first question, I think, is really important to me because I always thought of myself not as necessarily a woman with vision, but a worker bee. And as a woman with vision, and it doesn't have to do with work, I always had different plans and different things. And a woman with vision, it's exactly what they say. You must first have, to see, you must first have a vision. And it's, I look at it as a woman with vision is someone who doesn't always just look at the here and now, what can I do today? But they look at today with the outlook of where they're going. They have an idea, they have a goal, they have somewhere in a vision to implement. And it doesn't have to be 20 years down the road. It doesn't have to be your whole career. But having an idea of where you want to go and how you want to impact, why you're doing it, and how you're going to get there creates that plan. So to me, a woman with vision is someone who believes in themselves, believes in others, but also looks to go to a goal in mind. I think that's it. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, and it's so interesting what you're saying. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking to myself of the whole life gets in the way, right? So many times we sit and we come up with a plan, right? I want to do this. I want to be that. I want to accomplish. I want to leave behind, whatever, right? And then something happens. Life happens, right? Something we didn't expect, something that pops up, right? And so many times we get derailed, right? Because that wasn't in the plan. That was not on the roadmap of what I expected was going to happen. And I think what you're saying, right, is that being a woman with vision, we know that things are going to pop up. We know life is going to happen, but it's that, and I think, you and I were speaking before we went live, that you said it's changed, right? It is going to change. It's constantly going to change. We have to kind of start off with our plan, but no, it's going to modify. It's going to modify based on, those things that pop up in our life, right?
Yeah. So I'll get two different analogies because you kind of have me in a good spot. I have this thought. So my boyfriend likes to explain to me how my brain works. And I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but to me, a woman with vision is someone who can think outside the box, who thinks can think of everything, but know where the end goal is. So how he describes my brain is that on a graph, if anyone's a math person, on a graph, you have a linear line, like a straight graph, right? And I am the kind of person, as a woman with vision, you are someone that knows the path, knows where to go. But there's going to be little outliers on the path. So you might have an outlier over here and that might happen, but you can correct it and go back to the path. And so that's something that I think I've always embraced is the way I look at a vision is I know where I want to go. And I know little things are going to pop up and there's going to be the outliers on my graph. I can't predict it. I can address it, but then I can keep going to, the end goal. The other one is like you said, this doesn't upset anybody, but if you are, we'll say shooting an arrow, right? If you're shooting an arrow and you make one little misstep, actually, I'm going to take that away. I was actually coaching a little girl across the street. She's in softball. And she had never, ever hit a home run before. And she was so excited. She was out there with all of her balls, hitting it. And I walked over and, I'm not the best softball player, but I played for a long time. And I was talking to her and I said, hey, I want you to try this. And all I did was had her change her foot just barely, move it up just a little bit, and swing, clearing the table rather than all the way down and up like golf. And I remember it was maybe yesterday, she came running across the street and she said, oh my gosh, I hit my first home run ever. And that's, I think, what you say is sometimes there's going to be these little tweaks that will change your vision and where you want to go. She wanted a home run. All she had to do was make a couple little tweaks and it changed. So I think things change because little movements change our vision. They change us because you can't see everything and you just have to kind of try it and see where it lands you.
And be willing to make those adjustments, right?
For sure.
Yes. All right. So 2020 vision, I know you've been coaching with them for a bit, and I know that you've had so much change and movement and advancement and everything else. And I'd love to hear from you. How has it helped you personally and in your career?
Whew, okay. So we're gonna get a little personal. So I started my career roughly 9-10 years ago, and starting in this industry, I worked at the same job as my dad, or the same company as my dad. And I was always told, keep your head down, work hard, do your job, get it done, and build who you are. And when I left that job, I went to another company, which I loved the company with all my heart. However, I ended up in a very hostile environment for me. And I ended up parting ways, and it was very, very, very hard for me. And at that point, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a voice. I was scared to express who I was and all that. So when I first got introduced to 2020 was because of some of your videos and some of Christine's stuff that she had been put on. And so I remember connecting with you guys. So when I started with my current company, First Option, and I had the opportunity to coach with you guys, I think 2020 for me was a good starting point to really, really help me learn my voice and encourage me and help me to find it. And I went from being the girl that did her job, I had a great reputation, I did my job, to kind of an extremist of here's all of my ideas, here's everything. And I coached with quite a few people to help me find that balance to embrace who I am, embrace my emotion, embrace my creativity, and be vocal, but also not be so extreme that it almost is on it like crazy, I guess, right? And so that's what I think 2020 has done for me is they've really helped through the different coaches. I've coached with a couple of them. They've helped me find my weaknesses that I actually thought were strengths, find out that they were actually weaknesses, and I didn't truly understand the meaning of, emotional intelligence, or I was, or how to, negotiate, or how to, talk to people with respect. And there were words that I would say in emails, and I thought it was very clear, and helped me learn to find that balance with other people I work with. And it actually helped me build stronger relationships, not just with, myself, but my family, and then people I work with and people that I am trying to recruit, because my position is very different than, it's, I do recruiting, onboarding, and training. And, it's really helped me grow from just being a recruiter to really embracing and having good conversations, to listen, to talk freely, to help people feel comfortable. And that, I think, is where 2020 has been a godsend for me, because they've helped me take me from one extreme to the other, but then help me rein it back and really understand and continue to develop, because I'm not perfect and I definitely know there's a lot of work, but that's where 2020 has helped me. It helped me find my voice, and now they're helping me learn how to express my voice efficiently, and so people see what I see.
That's beautiful. And listen, we are always evolving as humans, right? But some of the things that you just said, number one, finding your voice. Number two, learning how to effectively use that to communicate. Those are basic things that, regardless of what you ever do in life, personally and in business, it doesn't matter what situation, those are things that you will use and improve and impact others drastically by being skillful in that, right? And so you're blossoming, right? You're evolving and you're blossoming into your best self. And you will continue to do that because, like we said, is that who we are today, 2 years from now, we're going to be totally different, right? We're going to evolve into something else. And that's the value of 2020, whether it's the one-on-one coaching, whether it's the classes and being with peers. And I know, I'm kind of not putting words in your mouth, but I'm envisioning that if you're speaking to other people within the industry, whether it's originators, whether it's operations staff, executives, whomever it is, I would imagine that being in the rooms with others that are in those positions are allowing you to understand what's important to them, what's of value to them, what are they having as pain points right now to effectively help you to do your job better. So that's great, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I think has really been blissful for me, is not just, I think watching other people as well express and learn together has really changed my outlook, because it does help me in my own career on how to break down barriers. It helps me develop relationships with people that maybe wouldn't have taken my call even if it wasn't for recruiting like you. It's one of those things that I think being in the room and in the classes really allows for you to develop relationships and not feel alone.
Right.
And also get insight you don't think you need, but you do.
You do.
And that's, I think, my favorite part is I've been in classes where someone will say something and learning like, oh, I was thinking about this, maybe an approach or something. And I remember I sometimes will go, oh yeah, I had that question too, or I didn't even think to ask that in this class. And so I think that 2020 creates not just coaching one-on-one, but it creates a safe environment for you to develop strong relationships across the country, and gives you a place where you can get coached by some of these great coaches in groups, but facilitates great conversations with other people all over you may never would have heard of, that either experiencing the same or something you might see in the future. And that's been a huge impact for me, because I may not be in the same position that they are, I guess, when doing loans, but it's still relatable. And that's really important in anyone's career. And as far as the communication goes, I think that, that's one thing, that learning how to communicate with others, you may think you're really good at it, but I have learned that there are things that I say that can be misconstrued. And I think it's clear. So it also helps you with that emotional intelligence class, just learning to understand other people and paying attention and being in tune.
Agree.
That's, I think, one of the biggest things I've taken away from 2020 is understanding and having better ways to communicate and make sure that you're communicating effectively, because even if they might be receiving it different than you are.
That's right. That's right. Okay. And I totally agree. And it is such a great perspective, right? It absolutely broadens our horizons to understand and learn and connect. And listen, the mortgage industry has changed so much over the last few years, especially with the amount of remote people are. Years ago, you could bond and you could be in the same rooms and you could have hundreds of people together in a building. That really doesn't exist in most cases anymore. So being in these virtual rooms and having that ability to communicate with all these other people in one community, that's a safe place where we learn and grow together. That is just, it's necessary. It's not just valuable, it's necessary for all of us. It really is. All right, Ashlee. Fabulous. Thank you for sharing. One final question for you. We would like to know, what does the vision for Ashlee's future look like?
And that, I think, is one of the tricky questions. So as you mentioned, visions are always changing. And I knew exactly where I was headed about a year ago. And I think over the last year, with the way the industry is, the way my job is switched around, just different responsibilities I've learned to love, I think my vision has definitely changed. So to give you kind of a direction I'm headed is, one thing I've learned that I love and I want to continue to work for, my vision is to help women understand their value being in a position in, you know, recruiting and training and onboarding, I deal a lot with people that, you know, don't know how to, or don't know how to approach, you know, getting paid better, or they don't see the value, or they feel like that's not, you know, an issue. And my vision is to help women understand and help them find places, a place like 2020, to really help them embrace that. Because I don't know about all of you, but women are the way of the is the way it's going, and we really do we are so crucial to the working environment. But I think just continuing to help women understand that, providing great experiences and help people feel embraced and feel loved and feel important in their positions, but also help women know how to stand up for themselves and not feel like they have to take less, or, you know, not fight for
Not speak up.
where they want to be. And that's, I think, my biggest vision, is just to kind of grow that network, because it really breaks my heart when I don't see women embracing that and don't know how to stand up for themselves efficiently.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because that is extremely important. And it's funny, Ashlee, for myself, you know, me and Christine share about how we didn't have a lot of support when we were first in the industry. But I also have to tell you that, like, for myself, when I was working, what you were saying about head down focused, right? So I was so consumed when I was building my own company that I honestly had no idea what was going on in the industry, because I was so like focused on what I was doing. And then the last downturn of industry, which was 2018, when I had to get outside because of the industry being so bad and I had to do something, all of a sudden I saw what you're seeing, that I saw that there's so many amazing women that they have the ability, they have the opportunities sometimes, not always, but some of them have opportunities, but yet they don't have the confidence in themselves or the voice to share, to allow themselves to take care of those opportunities or go for those opportunities. And so thank you for that, because I think it's all of us together. I think we all play a part in sharing that message that we have greatness inside of us, all of us. We all have that greatness inside of us, but sometimes it's down deep. And if someone for quite some time keeps telling you to shove it down lower and lower and lower, you kind of lose it, and it's hard to bring it out. But you said something to me before we started recording, and this is so true, and I want to share it with everyone. Ashlee said, sometimes other people see something in you that you haven't seen in yourself yet. And to that point, that is what Ashlee is sharing, that she is on a mission. And I congratulate her for this mission and support her in this mission of bringing out what maybe some other women don't even realize they have inside of them. So thank you for that. And we are planning on doing that all together as Women with Vision. And we encourage everyone that if you are looking for that support and that confidence boost and that knowledge and that education and that inspiration and the classes and the coaching and everything else, please reach out, because we have a community for you. Thank you so much, Ashlee, for being on the board of directors, for being an amazing woman with vision. We truly appreciate you. And all the best always.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day and reach out. You will not be disappointed.